You think, I do believe that you think Short 4 is the better Tracer than Gods overall. I mean, do you think they're at equal power?
I mean, I don't know. I can be persuaded either way. I've seen both of them have very good Tracer games. Let's put it this way. I don't think that C9 putting Short 4 and 76 and Gods on the Tracer here is actually losing a whole lot in Tracer power. And Adam, I would love it if you just rode that horse right into the map. Please. I know it's not happening, but that's quite the dance.
That's actually how you dance. You just don't know it.
I mean, I actually have extra legs, Hex. People don't know. I'm a horse. I don't know.
Coming at you.
Nay to that, good sir.
Oh, no.
I tried. Courtyard battle underway. D.Va comes in, gets the shield up. So the courtyard battles have been much less exciting without Reinhardt on this map. Not necessarily shield battles. All the ammo goes into the defense matrix, and then teams kind of dance around. We'll see which team wants to try to rotate first in. That is the first kind of aggression out of Cloud9. The dive works perfectly.
Kaiser wanted Zenyatta, and he got him. Shaz, last thing he saw was a monkey in his face with electricity coursing through his veins, and that was just over before it really began. When you get a Winston dive that quickly, that is well supported, you can just take the fight immediately, and Kaiser took matters into his own hands.
I'm so glad for the UI improvements, because the one theme that ran through all of those kills is that Rolf was in on it. He was in discording and assisting everyone in there. So important. Trying to take out the important piece on the other side too, as Nesh is pressuring the point. They will have to rotate over there eventually. That's a huge kill from Nesh to take out Kaiser.
Well, what Hammers did is that they knew the dive was coming in, they backed up a bit and punished Kaiser, so there was no surprise there. They adapted to C9's dive, and now we'll see how it goes here on the point where C9 already had a significant advantage. It's 5v5, and it's Gods dashing around and making this his own personal playground, keeping C9 in this fight.
A literal god over there as he comes in, gets the kills, turns it around. Another one for him as he takes out his counterpart and Tracer. Again, see the little Zenyatta up next to them. I mean, everyone's getting discorded. It's so good. Rolf has been one of my favorite supports for a long time. I thought he was a great pick when Cloud9 picked him up, I think, just a week before BlizzCon last year.
Rolf was very good, and yeah, I mean, at BlizzCon, it is interesting. He got picked up around that time period, but he's been strong for C9 ever since then. He made the old Method team really good, and now he's giving that magic to C9. But next fight here is underway. Hammers trying to break out of this deadlock. The sound barrier is in, and they pick up nothing out the sound barrier. C9 still at full HP, and you can't have that happen. You can't invest the sound barrier and get nothing. That is how you lose rounds here in control.
Well, Zephyr able to take out the opposing tank. There's a later sound barrier, and by pure definition, usually everyone over the top. Zephyr takes out two. That fight is over. And thinking of last year BlizzCon, do you remember when a large portion of C9 stacked us and spawn camped us?
No, I had actually forgotten. I went through therapy to forget that, and no, we lost. I couldn't really get a good read on Sombra, and my pride was crushed, just like the self-destruct crushed on the favor C9.
Yeah, that's when I was like, Sombra's totally OP, right? And it was just that C9 had whopped us with her 99% desperation time now for Hollywood Hammers to come back in. They do get a nice pulse bomb, take Short 4 out of the mix, but yet another transcend from Rolf, who, as I mentioned, has been in on all of these kills. It's a good way to boost your ultimate power there. They are going to have to come in. It's overtime, nothing left to lose. Beautiful pulse bomb from Gods, and he has taken over this game.
It's just God's world. We're simply living in it here. Where he is just...
Preach, brother, preach.
He made this round his own, and C9, the rest of it, they just had to pull back, let Hammers get poked down as they went in, and Hammers wasn't really able to get much off their initiations. Even when aided by a sound barrier, they still got wrecked.
Yeah, it's they need to find a better answer for Gods. It's not something that you necessarily want to have to run into a counter to try to deal with, but I don't know, Snizzle plays a good Roadhog, can be a decent counter to a Tracer, but right now Gods has gone unchecked, and he is molding the world to his liking.
It's been a good game for Gods, there's no doubt about it, and you know what, again, we talked about the entire idea of like, well, Short 4's on the Tracer, is that a big deal? Gods clearly making the case that, no, it's not a big deal. He's played Hitscan for a really long time, going all the way back to his days on the old Luminosity, and it's been a good series here so far for C9.
God's also a really good tank, too. I mean, the guy can play absolutely everything. It's unfair. I am starting to believe that he is absolutely divine somehow. Well, Jump comes in early on from the side of Hollywood Hammers, and that's great for them. The jump comes in, it forces Rolf back, and Nesh is there for the cleanup.
Rolf was a little bit bloodthirsty there, got punished immediately, but it's 5 versus 5, and C9 still has the edge, and that Kaiser is very much alive, and being up Winston is a good thing in this fight. It lets you make more room. However, C9, they back up, now they go back in. They really play with the point timings here, Hex, where they're not afraid to let the other opponent get some time on the point, so long as they come in before it gets capped.
It just makes you come into the fight better at full force. Fisher scares Kaiser into jumping off the edge over there as Kaiser went down. He was also very low, didn't really matter all that much that he was going to bail out of that fight. And Hollywood Hammers are showing up here on control. They've taken first control of the point, they've hunted down gods, and now we're going to camp right outside this door, it seems. Well, at least the Tracer is, because this is what Tracer does.
Tracer is a creeper. We've established that over the course of the day. She will creep behind a corner and just give explosives to you when you least expect it, while, you know, leaving off with a hiya.
Yeah, you've really changed the way I looked at her, and I will never forgive you for it. Still camping his door and just getting all the spam they can in there, and it's kind of confounding Cloud9. They don't know when and where they want to go, and now seems to be the time. Nope, never mind. Gonna dance a little bit back. The tanks have gotten in, and now usually you just have to follow the tanks. And it's smart by Hollywood Hammers to not stick around too long. They got what they wanted done up there.
One thing that really strikes me on C9 here, aside from that great flick, I'm sure, for that removes Nesh from the equation, is that C9 is very methodical on their pushes. They're not trying to go for the wanton aggression that we saw from, say, Immortals earlier in the day. C9 is more than willing to take these fights a little bit slower, but make sure they're done well. And if you want to talk about things well done, Hammers is absolutely well done. You could barely even stick a fork with them. That's how done they are. Because this is going to be a cap here for C9.
Now you're making me think about poorly cooked meat, and for that, I will never forgive you. My inner Ron Swanson is crying right now.
Yeah, you're telling me you don't eat steak well done with ketchup?
I'm not very presidential. Sizzlenose comes in over the top. Self-destruct goes there. Does not find much. The sound barrier will come down. Keep everyone alive. They don't necessarily get a whole lot of kills after the sound barrier, so questionable, I suppose. Shaz goes down again from a leap from Kaiser. And
well, this is where, again, Kaiser has been isolating Shaz whenever possible, and he gets away with that one. Not only gets a kill, he gets away with his life. And Surefour right now, after taking down Fisher, has plenty of room to work with in the back. And anytime you give Surefour room as a 76, it's a bad look where he's just laying in the damage from the back line. And he's the main threat here as the rest of C9 just rolls around and finishes it out.
Why did Kaiser leap off the edge?
I don't know.
Like, maybe he wanted a full health pool, didn't want Rolf to get any of the credit for healing him up. I don't understand what that was.
Maybe Kaiser identifies as like a cat and someone threw a ball of yarn off the edge.
Yeah, perhaps. All right, Kaiser. I mean, it's twice now he's gone, and he doesn't really have to, but it's style points. He'll be back in the fight, of course. Winston pretty mobile for a mammal his size. The Pulse Bomb comes in, does not end up taking down Rolf, who has been a priority target. For Rolf doing so much work, has another Transcend up. The first Transcend comes out for Hammers.
Transcend's up for Hammers, and they don't really have a lot of time to lose here. C9 at 70%. If they win this fight, it is going to be just a last-ditch effort. And Fisher, the blade is out, looking for victims. Gets a big one in Surefour, but that's going to be about it. And C9, they bent back again, Hex, but not breaking. You take a look at the point, right. Hammers has got half, but C9 is just playing the outskirts very well. They're making Hammers come to them, and it buys them more time.
And they force out this sound barrier, too. Hammers knows that they have to take this point now. They have to win this fight and stay alive for the rest of the reinforcements to come back. Not gonna be the case, though, as Surefour's got them in his sights. Tomsy goes down. God's looking for the cleanup, finds his counterpart, and gonna need a miracle from Fisher here. Not gonna happen as Rolf puts him away as well. Cloud9 up 2-0 on Lijiang Tower.
I will say that I really like how C9 engages and disengages. Sure, it can lead to some trouble like it did on second point in Nambani, but I think they're getting into sort of this new era of thinking about Overwatch where, look, you have time to give on points. You can play positioning to your advantage. Yeah. When you control a point, it is in your advantage to delay things out a little bit, make the opponent come to you a little bit more in cases, if you're not trying to like catch them off guard with a surprise engage. So I think C9, even if they've had a rougher day today, I like some of the concepts they are applying in their gameplay right now.
It seems like it's the long con, right? We need to improve our game. We need to do these small things. Well, it's kind of antithetical to how some North American teams play of like, let's just fight. Let's fight all the time. C9 just like, it's quality, not quantity, guys. We're going to take a good fight instead.
There are some team comms I've been on where the team really does not want to lose any fight, period. It's just like, let's go kill everyone. Doesn't doesn't always work. You can be a little bit smarter in Overwatch, and speaking of smart, we have Surefour here on the Pharah trying to make the skies his, and doesn't actually have a lot of things to pressure him here. The biggest threat will probably be Shaz, but there's no direct anti-air threat, so this is Surefour's game right now to try and make the most of this Pharah play.
Yeah, still playing very far back as the point just opened up now. I can't imagine that they're just going to give it up without contesting. A huge dive-in comes from Kaiser. Unable to finish the kills. Nesh came back, helped out his supports. They did lose Roll, or they did lose Shaz, rather. And it's still pretty even here. No great answer to that Pharah. No team even getting on the point just yet. Now some contesting coming in from Hollywood.
What C9 did there, they weren't trying to get on the point early on. They went to the flank to try and get the uneven number matchup. They were willing to give up a little bit on the point. Unfortunately for them, they end up losing that point despite making that tactical decision, and Hammers was able to get the first cap and put that fight in their favor. That said, C9 now being a little bit more aggressive, coming in, but it can be difficult to evict a team from this point sometimes, Alex.
Yeah, which is kind of why I think it was a little bit of a mistake. They wanted to fight and fight on the points, and they were just half a second too late to get there. They just not quite there on time, and Fisher is going to get some. Fisher actually takes out Jorfo, but yeah, that's a good ability. It brings people who died back to life.
I mean, that might be why they call it Resurrection, Hex, but it is a quality resurrection from Adam, where, in all seriousness, that was a case where he res two of the highest priority targets right when it was needed, and despite Fisher's blade, which was very good, I mean, he stared down Winston, didn't blink, it doesn't matter because he gets brought right back up to life, and C9 just finishes off with style.
Resurrection. It's not on my word of the day calendar. I don't know it. Yeah, it's a really nice play there from Adam. If you think about Rez, too, at 45% already. He might have it in the next fight.
I mean, Hex, it wouldn't be on your word of the day calendar because you see it as a profane swear word. So, I mean, that's not something you say normally. But in any case, Hammers moving in. They drop the self-destruct, trying to make a little bit of room. Be countered by a self-destruct in turn by Zephyr. Finds his man. And now, this is already making things a little bit rough for Hammers as they're stuck trying to retake. They have to do it down a man, and they're investing ults into this fight nonetheless. They use a Transcendence, but they get absolutely nada as C9, they weather the storm, and they push Hammers out once more.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say they're investing all, because that would also have been accurate. They threw everything they had at that fight, did not get anything out of it. Nesh does still have the Pulse Bomb, but that's just really a long cooldown basic ability, in my opinion. And so hard to deal with. They haven't really even addressed Surefour. They feel they're trying to run the strategy of, like, if we just dominate the ground, it won't matter. It's mattered. It's mattered a lot.
It has mattered a lot, and it's also a real pain to come in here when Pharah's in the air, where Surefour has so many options for boops and otherwise, but Fisher, another blade built up into the back, already striking blood here early on.
Well,
there's the res. That was the flip side there, is that you can do all that. You can fall off the edge if you want to. You can leave your friends behind. But it doesn't really matter when Adam has resurrected and really undone a lot of the damage that you did.
But your friends don't res, and if they don't res, they're back in spawn. I don't know. Look, I'm not of the genius that men without hats are, all right? Safety dance is the ballad of our time, and I will accept no different answer. All right, Salvera does come in. Overtime ticking away here. Desperation time. Zephyr has been taken out. A later sound barrier comes in, but you know what's been crazy is even when they're hitting these sound barriers, they're hitting ultimates, the kills seem to go in the other direction. Not exactly the case this time, though. Hollywood Hammers getting the majority of the kills. Gods is going to be dancing around, though, and waiting for his friends. I don't think he wants to let it flip back over. He's waiting for the reinforcements to come. He's been so good at dipping his toe back in. We'll have to eventually give it up.
And that's big. Surefour was able to get Fisher here. That's going to give C9 a much better re-engage, where yes, they lost the point, but now they can come in, make this a 6v5, and the big cannon of Hammers and Fisher is out of this fight. This is C9's opportunity to end this strong without a whole lot of drama. They can just run in. They don't have to wait till 99%. They can end this here if they do well, but that's a little bit rough. You see Zephyr and Gods a little bit deep, but Adam is there to erase mistakes.
Yeah, Adam's, I think people forget how good Adam is on every support. It's insanity. During the Mercy meta, Adam was just unkillable. You couldn't kill him. Even when they had to switch to Zen, somehow he was immortal in that side too. Gods is going to prove that not all Zenyatta's are immortal. Takes down Shaz to start this fight, and you have to think that is the green light for Cloud9 to start coming in here.
I mean, the problem for C9 is that they did let a golden opportunity bypass them there, where they went a little bit deep. They got punished. The resurrection wasn't quite enough to bring it back, and now they're down down to a final fight to bring this back. So despite a rough beginning here and kind of tough dealing with the Pharah, Hammers yet might take this round. C9 has a lot to answer for in this fight, but it's a beautiful dive. Kaiser going right in, leading to the destruction of both supports, and this is decisive, Hex.
Hammer and anvil. I was wondering what Gods was doing, just kind of creeping around the backside there, stepping and toe on the point. What that did is, as soon as Gods jumped in, or not Gods, sorry, Kaiser jumps in, they have to retreat from him. They're retreating right into Gods. It's brutal. Great setup. It was a beautiful set play.
I mean, and God's response is probably Haya. Oh, speaking of Gods, we get
Hey,
another.
you love that intro.
Yes.
And it's not the Chinese New Year intro.
I swear I didn't pay Gods off for that, but that is the best Tracer intro. I am unabashed in my support of it. But C9 in the end makes this a rather convincing 3-0 on Lijiang, and whatever troubles they may have had earlier in the day, I do think they've learned from them here, and unfortunately for Hollywood Hammers, they have to be the first ones to sort of bear the brunt of C9's lessons.
Yeah, and they're looking so polished, Cloud9, that is. They are positioning really well, and they're using their positioning very reactively, and this is something that they actually do very well in general. Maybe they even move around a little bit too much when it comes to payloads, but they react to ults